A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew chapter 13 verses 54 to 58. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. Jesus returned to his hometown and gave a lecture in the meeting house. He made a real hit, impressing everyone. "We had no idea he was this good," they said. "How did he get so wise? Get such ability?" But in the next breath they were cutting him down. "We have known him since he was a kid. He is the carpenter's son. We know his mother Mary. We know his brothers James and Joseph, Simon and Judas. All his sisters live here. Who does he think he is?" They got their noses all out of joint. But Jesus said, "A prophet is taken for granted in his hometown and his family." He didn't do any miracles there because of their hostile indifference. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 13 verses 54 to 58. After the discourse of the parables, the Gospel of Matthew presents Jesus in the synagogue of his native in Nazareth, rejected by the people who knew him well. Nazareth is the place of faith because it is the place where that famous response to the invitation of God took place. "Let it be done to me according to your word." It is the place where humanity responds fully to God for the first time through the response of Mary. It is the place of willingness to accept God's plan. But it is also the place of unbelief. People of Nazareth were suspicious and perhaps jealous of his popularity and acceptance in the neighbouring villages that they refused to accept Jesus. Their refusal to accept the novelty of his teaching prevented them from being healed by his compassion. We run this same risk when we take the gospel for granted. When we read a passage from the Bible, we do think, "Oh, I know this already." Unless we spend time with the Word of God to meditate and reflect on it, we fail to be inspired and be healed by the Word. During his Angelus prayer on July 4th this year, Pope Francis gave a beautiful reflection on the attitude of the villagers of Nazareth. Jesus' fellow villagers knew him for 30 years in the same way, and they thought they knew everything. They remained at the exterior level and refused to know what was new about Jesus. When we follow the convenience of habit and the dictatorship of prejudice to have the upper hand, it is difficult to open ourselves to what is new and allow ourselves to be amazed. We think we know Jesus, that we already know so much about him, and that it is enough to repeat the same things always. And this is not enough with God. But without openness to God's surprises, without amazement, faith becomes a tiring litany that slowly dies out and becomes a habit, a social habit. Pope Francis stressed on the word amazement. Amazement happens when we meet God. People who encountered Jesus and recognized him felt amazed. And we, by encountering God, must follow this path to feel the amazement. Why didn't the fellow villagers of Jesus recognize and believe in him? Because they did not accept the scandal of the Incarnation. They thought that it was scandalous that the immensity of God should be revealed in the smallness of our flesh, that the Son of God should be the son of a carpenter, that the divine should be hidden in the human, that God should inhabit a face, the words, the gestures of a simple man. This is the scandal. The incarnation of God, His concreteness, His daily life. Pope Francis concluded by quoting St. Augustine, who said, "I am afraid of God the Lord when He passes by." But Augustine, why are you afraid of God? I am afraid of not recognizing the Lord when He passes by.